What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Buffalo Bills deep dive season preview, whatever you want to call it. So, if you guys are new, feel free to support the channel. I make videos like this all the time, even if it means I ain't going to get many views, because it's fun, it's informative, it's entertaining, and luckily I don't have to make my living off of it just yet. So, once that happens, still show some support. I'm still going to put videos out like this anyway, because you know what? Good content matters a lot more than money, because this is an investment in the long run, right? We're going to know a lot more about teams when we do mock drafts, which is like the big thing for this channel. So it's all worth it in the end. Let's kick right into the video. So let's first off look at the rookie class. Kaiir Elam, I believe, cornerback 2 in this last draft. I thought that was phenomenal. Corner 2 was a big issue for you guys, and you ended up missing out on Trent McDuffie. I wasn't that big of a fan of Trent, and I'm a Washington corner fan. I mean, I was Keith Taylor, and wow, I just tripped up on my Elijah Molden. He was my favorite player. I was their biggest fans, man. Had Elijah in the first round type stuff. Like, I loved him. Keith Taylor as well. I had like a late second on him. He fell to the 5th. So I'm a big fan of that. Kaiir Elam is a baller, man. He is very athletic. He tested phenomenally. He has great length. He's a little too sticky sometimes, but you know what? He is a very good corner overall. Big fan of what he can bring to the table. And I just think the sky's the limit, man. Big fan of that. James Cook, I understand why you try to get JD McKissick and are trying to add in that James White to your offense, and James Cook potentially could be better than that. So I'm not a huge fan of spending a second round pick on a scat back, but I understand why you did it. And you're in a position, very luckily, where you have that option, where you can do that. So I do think it's a very solid pick. Again, not that big of a fan of it. Terrell Bernard is just kind of older. I understand why, but he's undersized. He fits in. But again, if that's my least favorite pick, that's not a bad sign at all. Very, very good player. Khalil Shakir is a very good weapon to have as a depth piece, and he's already made a play in the preseason. Big fan of that. Matt Araiza, he was the best. I didn't change the positions, did I? I love that. Professional at its best, right? I mean, this is bad. This is using what I did when we first came out with the draft. But Matt Araiza, best punter in the draft. Excited to see how he does. Obviously, the Ravens punter looks really good right now, but I didn't know enough about Christian Benford. Luke Tenuta, he didn't test very well, so it kind of sucks, but I think it's a good depth piece. Braylon Spector, good solid piece as well. So that's it wasn't spectacular, especially day 3. I wasn't a big fan of day 3. You got Khalil Shakir, Matt Araiza. Like, it's good enough, but you really missed after that, in my opinion. And your day 2 picks aren't standing out to me either. B is pretty damn solid, but hey, it's good enough, right? So I think it doesn't ruin your chances of having success. Let's slide right into the roster. So yes, if you guys are new, Sport Track is what we use to look at all the contracts and everything. But I mean, look at that contract. Hello. He's worth every penny of that, to be 100% fair. But they sort positions by alphabetical order. So we're going to go the normal route: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You know the drill. So Josh Allen, obviously, he's right now the ascending king of the NFL. Hopefully, he's able to continue that trend because he's fun to watch. Case Keenum's a great backup, as well as Matt Barkley. Like, both those guys have won games that they really shouldn't have. And to be honest, I think they're worth their money. Like, I legit think they're very, very good. And you even have 2 solid punters. I never talk about punters, but Matt Hawk and Matt Reza, shit. Like, it's very rare that punters actually have that type of value, but those are both very good players. Running backs. So we start off with James Cook, your second round draft pick, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary. Now, I don't really think that the value is supreme. Like, I don't think you have an elite running back core, but you have enough balance now. And I think that's very good. The bottom line is you felt like you needed a true scab back, and you ended up getting one. Zach Moss is a great one cut back, as we like to say. Devin Singletary is very solid as a contact balance back as well. Really didn't see the difference between the two when you drafted Zach Moss, like maybe more athleticism, but James Cook is different. He's going to be your scat back. He's going to be that dude who just provides that home run hitting ability that you really didn't have. So I'm excited to see it. Transitioning to wide receiver, we got Stephon Diggs. Great trade. Trading a first round pick. Obviously, that ended up being Justin Jefferson, but at the time, you needed somebody who could be proven to be a great guy right now. Stephon Diggs certainly is that. Got a nice extension as well. You have him for a long time until probably he isn't really worth that type of money anymore. So I think that's honestly a great deal as well. I really do think so because of the fact that, by that age, I know he's going to be consistent. He's going to continue working on himself. By the time he's like, what, 33, 34, he's going to be perfectly fine. Like that's going to be where you're going to not want to pay him that money anymore. He's not going to have that upside the way he does right now in the prime of his career. Isaiah McKenzie, big fan that you brought him back, man. I really do love him. I love his story. If I'm not mistaken, he's from the UK. So again, love that. Again, I want everybody to be able to follow their dreams. Big fan of that overall. Khalil Shakir, again, we talked about him. Gabriel Davis obviously has been shining out, like really, really good player. Marquez Stevenson from Houston, a good return man as well. Jameson Crowder, this was a very underrated signing in my opinion. I think he can actually legit take some starting reps. He's been probably one of the Jets' best options. He was overpaid, but for $2 million a year, hell, I'd sign him any day of the week. Even Neal Powell from BYU, I think that he had some really good plays as well. Tavon Austin's going to be fun. Kind of your backup, Isaiah McKenzie. I will say this. I like Gabriel Davis. I don't know if he's ascended to the true 2 yet, but let's assume he hasn't. I'd be a little bit worried about someone not being able to be that true 2. That's all. That's like really like my one issue that I have with this is I don't see a true 2 yet if Gabriel doesn't stay consistent enough to be a true 2. Yeah, otherwise, you have all the pieces that you need. You have good depth as well with good playmakers. I hope Jameson could potentially be that true 2, or Gabriel could be, and Jameson could be a great support staff. So we'll see. We'll see. I do think that this team could certainly, if it hits everything right, be absolutely dominant. Tight end wise, this might be like one of the best duos in the NFL at the moment. You're getting OJ Howard at a minimum, and I think that he could definitely outplay his contract. Dawson Knox is a pretty damn good player as well. His brother passed away today, so like our hearts go out to Dawson Knox. Sincerest condolences. So, that really sucks, and I do feel bad for him for that. And I hope that he gets enough love from the community, especially like guys. Now's a good time to be able to show some love to someone like Dawson Knox, who he's known, but probably not as much as he really deserves given his talent. But again, rest in peace to Dawson's brother. It's very sad news. So very sad to hear that, but really good player. Tommy Sweeney is a fun one to have on your depth as well. Let's go to the tackles here. Spencer Brown. Yeah. I mean, Mr. 9.99 RAS score here in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. Really good depth piece. I think he's been starting as well. He started the playoffs. He was a little too raw for me to start at that point, but hey, you know what? I love it. I love it. Send him through, man. Bobby Hart's there. I don't know if he's actually starting over him. I don't like how he has an RT designation if Spencer doesn't, because Spencer's obviously a right tackle, because obviously 1st-round pick Trevor Penning was the left tackle at the time. I think Bobby Hart should never start over Spencer Brown, even if Spencer's worse at the moment. The talent is just too good to pass on. Not a big fan of that. And I like the tackle depth, to be honest. Bobby Hart's all right, but Deion Dawkins is a stud, in my opinion. I do like him actually a lot. You have one backup quality tackle, in my opinion. The rest I'm a little bit worried about. So let's hope to God that the offensive tackles stay healthy, because, again, I'm not very comfortable with how this is laid out. Let's look at the guards here. Starting off Ryan Bates. Not too shabby, man. That's a good depth piece right there. He'll probably start given his contract, but I think that that's a guy who could certainly be worth being put on a roster. Cody Ford just hasn't lived up to the hype. And it hurts me because I was high on Cody Ford. Roger Saffold, great deal right here, honestly, for a veteran who could really just provide that day one impact. David Quessenberry, not too shabby either, to be honest. Greg Van Roten, pretty damn good, dude. Like, you have some good depth here. I like that. Honestly, I just really do feel confident in the depth here. There's not many teams that I do, and I've already expressed my concern for the tackle depth. But honestly, You have a little too mad. You have a little too much depth here at the guard position. Let's look at the center really quick. You got Mitch Morris. He's a baller. I honestly think that he deserves a little bit more than even that. But hey, you know what? He's getting up there in age. I'm sure you guys want to repivot and see how he's able to age as time goes on. Really good player. Even Greg Mance as a backup is solid. Your interior is looking great. You know, I'm giving you guys an A+ for the interior. But that tackle situation, maybe cut two of those guards and sign one of the tackles. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. Let's go and let's look at the defense from the defensive line out. Starting off with Ed Oliver, first round pick, top 10 selection. Hasn't lived up to the hype yet, but man, he still has so much potential. And he was really raw, undersized. You know, I still think he can have a breakout. I have faith in him, especially when you have someone like Daquan Jones next to him, a very, very, very good veteran on a pretty solid deal as well. Tim Settle's good too. I mean, again, you have a nice interior right here. And to be honest, this is a live reaction. I don't study every single roster like player by player every week. So like I know the general gist. Obviously, I know who's starting and a little bit of the depth, but just understanding and seeing the depth in person. That's why I think this video series is so important to you guys as well as the channel. You know, Greg Rousseau, obviously, he's had some moments, mainly against like the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, but still show some love. I had a second round grade on Greg Rousseau, has a lot of potential. So I'm excited to see him continue to do that with somebody who's probably listed as an outside linebacker in Von Miller. We'll talk about him in a little bit. AJ Epineza, second round pick, if I'm not mistaken, has a lot of potential as well. Boogie Basham, really solid veteran, makes some impact. Even Jordan Phillips, you know, you have dudes who are very good. That didn't even mention Shaq Lawson. Like, you have a very good defensive end group. I don't know if Shaq's going to make the team given his contract. That just doesn't show much faith in him by the organization, nor by the NFL in general. But I hope he does. He has a lot of potential, and on that contract, I'd want to keep him. I would cut these three dudes. I don't know enough about them to give an honest opinion, but given their status on the team, I wouldn't really want them there. So that's that. Let's look at the linebackers here. Actually, look at the outside linebackers. You know, Von Miller, he's going to be a pass rusher. I don't really think he's going to be a stand-up. For $20 million a year, yeah, obviously you just, if I'm not mistaken, gave Matt Milano a contract last year because 4 years, it seems like it was a contract given last year. He's a really good player, and this is going to be going into his age, I believe, 30 or 31 year. So again, you can reevaluate it there. I love that because these contracts all scream to me. These guys are going to be playing on this contract in their prime, and then we'll see if they still got some juice left. Like, I haven't really thought about that when looking at contracts like for each team, but this team certainly, like when I'm reading this, they seem to know exactly what they're looking for in a contract. So a little bit more love for the Bills. Again, big fan of them. Their uniforms look a lot like SMU's. That was the first thing I noticed when I came here, which was sick. But Terrell Bernard, obviously third round pick. I think he's going to be a very good addition to this team. Tyler Matakevich, really good depth piece. Tremaine Edmonds, first round pick as well. Very good player. I think that the hate for him is unjustified. He has a lot of athleticism, super young still. He's been in the league for 5 years and is still 24. I think he might be turning 25 soon. Because if I'm not mistaken, like he was 19 at the draft and then he became 20 like in the offseason. So we'll see about that. Regardless, super young player still coming up on his end of his contract. Hopefully they give him an extension for 1 more year and give him that 5th year extension because you might as well. Again, linebacker wise, you got Milano, Bernard, and Edmonds here as your primary dudes, and you have some pretty solid depth there. I would say, I mean, to be honest, there's one guy who I'm pretty confident in terms of depth. Joe Giles Harris, he's there. That's the only concern is a little bit of depth. But at the end of the day, you have a 53-man roster for technically 44, 46, technically 47, including long snapper, starting positions. I understand. So, you know, you can't have depth at every position. Linebacker is one of the least valuable. And I think that that's very solid. Let's look at the safeties here. Micah Hyde, as well as, I mean, I don't need to look at Jordan Poyer. Elite duo. Big fan of them. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin. I was a huge fan of him. He's been able to stick. A big fan of that. Jaquan Johnson as well. not too shabby. You know, you have dudes here, Saron, Neal, like you guys have a really good secondary, in my opinion, and a big fan of that. There's Jordan. Let's look at the corners before we get right into the games. You guys are gonna like this. You already know I'm about to like totally boost your ego. Trey White, when healthy, is a straight up lockdown corner. I think he's an absolute baller. No, I'm not in the mood to look at Trey White. Sorry, as much as I love him. And look at this. Sport Track, you have to be kidding me. This is what I have to deal with. First world problems. But then Taron Johnson's been baller too. I think he's a very good slot. And Kyer Elam, like you have a nice top three. And you got Dane Jackson down there who's had some good reps. You know, I would say besides that, a little bit worrisome because again, corner is a position where I would say you should prioritize depth, but at least you got the top right. You got the top three, and hopefully they stay healthy. Knock on wood. Let's get right into the games here. I've been spending a lot longer on the Bills and the Patriots than I have on other teams. I don't know why. It's just kind of fun to go in depth right now. But the Bills going to the Rams week 1. Again, all these games could be reversed when I do the next team's video. So like when I look at the Rams, I could be like, damn, the Rams are so good. I'm going to choose them. Or man, the Rams aren't good enough. I'm going to switch it back. I did that with the Patriots. You guys like that. But hey, you know, when I'm looking at this, it's week 1. These guys are coming off a Super Bowl high. Stafford's really good, and Cooper Kupp's going to be there. I think if your corners are healthy, I think they could lock down the Rams' weapons, but Allen Robinson's there too, dude. Like, I think the Rams' O-line might be a detriment at the moment. Obviously, I think Whitworth's not there anymore. Even if he was, I think he might have came back for one more year. I'm tripping. I think he actually retired because I remember hearing about Noteboom potentially starting at left tackle. Regardless, I don't think it handles the Bills' pass rush well enough. And, you know, the Rams are really good at zone run. I think Terrell Bernard might be like, I kind of pooped on Terrell Bernard earlier. He's really good against zone runs. I saw him versus OK State where they did some zone run as well. I'm actually going to choose him. It's weird. I'm using Terrell Bernard as the reason why the Bills are going to beat the Rams. But hey, I really do believe in the Bills because, again, now you also have a really good scat back. I think the Rams defense, you have Bobby Wagner there. But the interior of the offensive line is good enough. I think they can hold. Similar situation here with the Titans. I just don't think the Titans are that good. Sue me. You're going to Miami. I'm usually going to choose Miami. I think they're going to be a very good team, very powerful weapons on the outside. I think Tua is going to finally come into his own. He's been working on his mechanics. Not saying this is the same, but your own quarterback, Josh Allen, took a major leap when he fixed his mechanics. I think Tua could do a similar level of leap, but not obviously to the level of Josh Allen, but the same type of percentage jump from where he was. Ravens, they're a really good team, man. I mean, this is going to be a shootout, and I'm going to give it to Baltimore. Baltimore. Steelers going to Buffalo. They just don't have enough firepower yet. I do have actually a lot more faith in my Steelers than I originally anticipated. The Chiefs, man, that's going to be an interesting one. I need to study up on Orlando Brown's contract because I don't know if he's still holding out. But if he is, I'm switching the game immediately to the Bills. I don't have any faith in the Chiefs without a starting left tackle. But they've been able to make it work enough with backups, essentially. Their running game, I don't have faith in the Chiefs. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm a little bit worried about Kansas City here. They're good. I mean, again, I'm not going to crap on them, but I legitimately think the Bills are better. The Chiefs lost firepower in the offseason. They haven't really gained it, and I'm going to be going with the Bills here. I do think they're the superior team. Going on to week 8, you got the Packers going to a fully rested Bills. I've been choosing the Packers a lot, but you're fully rested and you're at home. I'm going to be choosing you guys. No faith in the Jets at all, going to be honest. They have a good roster, but the quarterback situation is just not fulfilled yet. I have a lot of faith in the Bills right there. This is going to be a fun one because both teams are very good with their run, both have elite receiving cores, and both have pretty solid defenses, to be honest. But I think the Bills do have that upper hand right there in Buffalo. Same thing here. I don't even know if Deshaun Watson's going to be playing, but even if he is, I'm giving it to Buffalo. This game, man, I want to give the Lions more love, man. I really do. They're probably going to be in my next series, but we're going to be doing that. The Bills are going to be on a big tear here. They're just going to be on a tear. Holy shit. They're going to be on a big tear. Bears ain't going to beat them, man. Looking at the Patriots ain't going to do jack. The Jets still can't do jack. The Dolphins, I'm not going to have them sweep the Bills because that'd be ludicrous. The Bears suck. This game might be different. So I might be inclined to flip this game. I might be. Because I have no faith that the Bills are going to be like this dominant. And the Bengals are really, really good. So I'm going to give this one to the Bengals. I'm going to say they win at home. I'm going to show a little bit of love there. But, I mean, 14-3. Again, this is a Super Bowl favored roster, right? They're going to be going on a tear. I think, again, the Bengals are a very talented team. There's no hate at all right here. Very good team. That boosts the Bengals up to 12-5. So cheers to the Bengals. They're chasing the Baltimore Ravens pretty closely. But that is going to be the video, guys. Hope you guys do enjoy. You get a bye week for the playoffs. So big plus there. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.